In my years, I've done a fuck ton of drugs. I've been keeping a list since I was like 19 of every single drug I've ever done. And today I'm going to be ranking them from S tier to F tier. And usually these tier lists only go from S to D, but like there are some drugs out there that fucking suck. That have like no benefit at all, that cost a fuck ton of money, feel like shit. And they're just F tiers. You gotta have an F tier because some drugs out there fucking suck. So I'm gonna start out with like shit everyone knows about, like like your weed, your oxys, heroin, whatever. And then I'm gonna go to more obscure things, things you probably never heard of. Um. So yeah, what am I gonna get started with? Let's do oxy. So oxys, that's an easy S tier. The thing about oxys is you know exactly how much you're taking. If you're doing like heroin or even like street pills, pills of dubious origin, maybe some M30s, which probably are not real. Well, in the M30 case, those are definitely not real. So you don't know how much of whatever you're taking. Like it could be, it could be fentanyl, it could be a whatchamacallit, it could be a nitazine. You don't know what you're doing. It's some Chinese chemical, and it's like a loot box. It's like a CS:GO case, and sometimes you fucking die. But if you have an oxy that came out of a pharmacy, you know exactly how much is in there. And plus, oxy just feels good. It's a euphoric opiate, so it gets an S tier. Heroin addicts usually say, oxy's as good as heroin. If I just had access to oxy, I wouldn't be on heroin. You hear a lot of people saying that. So I'm gonna give it S tier. I like it a lot. There's one opiate I like more than it, and we'll get to that. It's a little bit of a controversial take, but yeah, it's definitely an S tier. And then next I'm gonna do alcohol. What is alcohol? Is it A tier or B tier? I'm leaning towards B because as far as like a GABAergic, it is a really fucking fun one. It feels euphoric, it gets you loosey goosey, gives you confidence. But oh my god, the last time I got drunk, I had like a bottle of vodka I was drinking alone because I'm a loser. And I drank I don't know how much, I don't drink a lot of alcohol, so I don't know like how much the bottle was. But I drank like damn near half of it. And I woke up the next morning feeling like I was on death's doorstep. I was throwing up. My head, it felt like someone was just like crushing it with a fucking vice grip. It felt horrible. And I don't get how alcoholics do it, because you get fucked up. You wake up the next morning, you're like, I can never do this again. I don't get how they do that shit every day. They wake up every morning like, bro, I need to make a change. Cause that's what I think. Whenever I get drunk, I'm like, dude, this is awesome. I go to sleep. I have some crazy ass dreams. I sleep like shit. I wake up and I'm like, bro, something's gotta give. I can't live like this. I can't do this. So I think B tier's like pretty accurate for alcohol. Let's do weed, the classic. I want to give it S tier. Do I give it S tier? I'm actually conflicted on this. I don't know. I'm gonna put it A tier. No. Okay, I'm gonna give it S tier just because it's not addictive. I smoked weed every day for like 6 years. Who am I to put in A tier after doing shit like that? The thing is, the reason weed is such a demon is because it's so benign. You can do it every day and it really doesn't fuck with you. That's like the hard thing. Because a person can smoke weed every day. It's not like opiates where like if you forget to smoke weed, you're writhing in pain on the ground. So it's super easy to fall into a habit of like smoking every day. Like when I first started smoking weed, I started like, I was just doing it at night, and I didn't even really like consider myself a stoner. I fell into a habit. I would get off work and I'd be like, man, I cannot wait to go home and get fucking blasted. And I didn't think of myself as an addict, but like when you're doing some shit every day and you're thinking to yourself like, damn, I can't wait to do this shit. You're low-key an addict. I'm kind of talking shit about weed after I put an S here, but it feels good. It's a social drug. The amount of people that I've met just for like a single night, at a smoke sesh. I'm at the sesh with a homie. He invites someone that I've never met before. We have an amazing conversation, and I never meet them again. I love those experiences. It's just like, it's nice to have like a social drug where you can meet new people and like get perspectives on shit. You have deep conversations, and it like brings people together. So I'm gonna give it S tier because it has very little downsides and a shit ton of benefit. What else is like, cocaine? Cocaine, I'm gonna give C tier. It's there in the middle. I'm not gonna sing its praises a lot. I've never had like a really good cocaine. I've only had like stepped on garbage, booty coke, and it doesn't feel as good as like some of your other uppers, like maybe Adderall or meth. It's just there. I think a lot of people just do it for like the image. A lot of people want to be the guy cutting up lines at the party, but they don't actually like really care about how it makes them feel, because it's cool. I like the way that it makes you feel, especially if you mix it with like Xanax, if you mix it with ketamine. Oh my god. If I was doing drug combos, I might do another video where I do drug combos. But if I was doing drug combos, I put cocaine and ketamine together, some good old Calvin Klein. I'll put that in S tier. But cocaine on its own leaves a lot to be desired. To me, it just feels like it's like kind of like the euphoria you get after you drink a cup of coffee. You've gone a while without coffee, you're kind of like craving it, you drink it. Take that euphoria and just like, maybe a little bit more than that. And then that's what I've gotten from cocaine. And a lot of people are going to be like, yo, dude. They're going to be like, dude, you've been snorting on some step-down bullshit. And bro, I know I've been snoring on some fucking foo-foo. I've literally taken a phone flashlight to the coke I was doing, and I've seen like little crystals of meth in it. So I know I'm doing some bullshit. But also, like, I'm not paying fucking $3 million for some Peruvian yellow tinted fucking off the brick rocks, dude. Like, I work a shitty job. I work hard for my money, and I'm not trying to spend all of it on like a 30-second high. The return on investment just isn't there, especially if you're doing like really good cocaine. Now, if I was a Wall Street banker and I had like crazy money and I didn't know what to do with it, maybe. And then even then maybe, because I just don't like uppers that much. So even then, I don't even know if I would really like doing cocaine. I'd probably spend it on like oxys or like rare opiates, or like some rare Japanese benzos or something. I wouldn't be spending it on, a shit ton of cocaine every day. I just don't know if that's worth it. So, yeah, solid C tier. It is. I only put in C tier and not something lower because the image. Like, it does feel fucking cool. I'll give you that. You feel like the coolest fucking dude when you're snorting lines, especially like at a party or something. Like, you feel like the man. So, just for that feeling. Plus, it like makes you more confident. So, you know, it makes you feel awesome. You feel awesome about yourself when you're doing coke. So, for that reason, I'll put it in C tier. What's next? What should I do next? Let's do some shrooms. This is hard. I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with shrooms? Honestly, I have to put it in C tier. Listen. A lot of people love psychedelics. But what I don't understand is people are like, hey, you take this, you're gonna maybe feel good, but you're also gonna get really scared. It's gonna be really stressful. It might go south. You might get, you might have a terrible time. You might feel indescribable pain. You might see unspeakable horrors. It might be like, I don't get it. The thing. If you smoke weed, if you take an oxy, you're gonna feel good. And if you take some shrooms, you might feel really good. Sorry, my nose is a little. So, you might feel really good. That's true. But you also might be scarred for life. Like, you can have some really fucking bad experiences on this shit. And everyone's like, oh, psychedelics make you see from new perspectives, the whatever. I'm not like a hippie dude. I'm not into that shit. I think if you're taking psychedelics, sure, it can give you some new perspective. You can see things from like an outside perspective because you have a little bit of ego disillusion. And that's cool, but it's not something you need to do more than once. I think doing it once every couple of years is like kind of cool to see things from a new perspective, kind of be outside of yourself. But it's like a gimmick. Like, you don't feel crazy good. There's a lot of side effects. You start yawning. You fucking, your stomach hurts. Like, you feel weird. You keep touching your face. Like, it's not something I want to be doing on a regular basis. I think I don't know, I'm just not a big psychedelic guy. I don't get it. I don't really get the appeal. It's a cool thing to try, just to say that you've done it. So I'm not going to put it in F tier, but it's not a great time. It just isn't. Now, acid, on the other hand, acid is a good time. Well, I don't want to say that. You can have a really bad time on acid, but mushrooms, like I said, it's a gamble. It's a mixed bag. You might have a good time, you might have a really good time, you might have a really bad time. Acid, your potential of having a really good time is a little bit less, but for that trade-off, the chance of having a bad time is also less. I feel like acid is more consistent. It's more like, this is kind of cool. I think the visuals are a lot more fun on acid. Like, let me show you guys something. So I was like listening to songs on acid, and you see my profile pic here. It's like a golden triangle, like triad seal. It's pretty cool. But like, the lines when you're tripping on acid, they're like, you can see them moving. Like, I swear to God, one of you guys, if you have acid, go find this picture. Also, listen to my SoundCloud. I make beats. But like, take some acid, look at that fucking profile picture. It'll look dope. It's awesome. So, acid is a lot more fun than mushrooms. It's a lot more consistent. So, I'm going to put it in C tier. It's definitely a higher C tier than cocaine. So, I'm going to put it, if I put it to the left, that means it's better to the things on the right. So, it's above cocaine. It's definitely above mushrooms. But I'd rather just, get a little drunk. I'd rather get a little drunk, to be honest. So, on this list, I have pure MDMA. Pure MDMA, I'm going to... Pure MDMA. Pure MDMA. Pure MDMA. C tier? I don't know. Because it's the same thing as shrooms. It's a good time, but it's not something you want to do often. You don't get the urge. Like, I want to have a good drink. Well, back when I did drink, I wanted to do it, like, every day. I'd have a stressful day. I wanted to go home, have a drink. But I didn't have a stressful day and think, man, I want to go home, man. I want to fucking roll, bro. I want to get, it's a good time. I'm going to put it B tier. I'd say alcohol is better. I'm going to put it B tier because it's more consistently good than acid. It's got more depth to it than cocaine. Cocaine is just like a good feeling. There's not like a lot of depth to the experience. But with Molly, there's a little, you trip a little bit. It feels a little bit like acid, but it also feels a little bit like meth. You get really euphoric. You get really stimulated. I would probably put it higher, but personally, I don't like stimulants and I don't like psychedelics, so it's not really up my alley, but I do see the appeal in it. I for sure see the appeal. So, solid B tier. Now, Molly. MDMA Tesla presses. About a year ago, I bought some flats. I bought some Molly. And it was a little pill with the Chanel logo. Let me see if I can... Okay. Looks like the streets don't know about the Chanel logo Molly. So, if someone hands you a Molly pill and it has the Chanel logo on it, burn it. Throw that bitch away. Throw it in the toilet. Punch your friend in the face. That shit did not feel like Molly. It felt like meth. I've done meth. I've eaten meth. I've taken it orally. It was more meth than I had ever done before in a single pill. I threw up. I was up for like 3 days. It did not feel good. I did not have a good time. And the thing about Molly presses is you don't know what you're going to get. It might be a good time. It might be a B tier experience. But it also might be the worst experience of your life. I swear that one experience I had with that Chanel press, it put me off. It didn't put me off to Molly. It put me off to stimulants and psychedelics as a whole. I already wasn't a big fan of those two drug classes. But after that experience, I was like, no more stimulants. Except like coffee. I love coffee. If coffee was on here, S tier. I love coffee. But anything stronger than coffee, I'm not fucking with it. I'm not doing it. So, F tier. It's not worth it. Let's talk about meth. Meth could literally be any of these tiers. I've had great experiences with it. It sent me to the psych ward at the same time. So I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with you. I'm going to put in D tier. Not F tier because I've had some good times with it. But I've also done it a little bit too much. I had a psychotic episode. I ran into some police. They took me to the psych ward. My life fell apart because I was in a psychosis. I lost my job, I lost my car, I lost my apartment. It'll fuck you up, but man, I would be lying. I would be lying through my teeth if I told you it did not feel good. It feels good. So what happened was I needed to quit opiates. I had an opiate problem. I don't like, like I said, I don't like stimulants. I don't do them all the time. I did a little bit of meth here and there, and I was like, you know what? Maybe if because meth is really cheap. What if I get some $20 gram of some, dog shit meth? I had a little money. I had been spending all of it on opiates. I was like, maybe if I do enough meth, I just can get past the withdrawals, because I was desperate. I just couldn't get through the withdrawals. I couldn't kick it. So I had the brilliant 700 IQ idea of doing so much meth that I didn't feel the withdrawals. And long story short, I was up for 3 days straight and ended up in a psychotic episode. So, just because of that, D tier. If I did this list like a year ago, I'd probably put in A tier. But that happened. So that kind of put me off to it as a whole. Ketamine A tier. It would be S tier, but it's not that euphoric. It feels good, and like I was talking about, the Molly, it's got depth to it. Cocaine, you do it, you know what cocaine's like. But someone that's done 50 milligrams of ketamine has no fucking idea what 200 milligrams feels like, what 100 milligrams feels like. They don't know, because it's got depth to it. The more you do, your set and setting, it all plays into your experience. You can do the same dose a year apart from each other, and you'll have very different experiences, because there's depth to it. The experience is going to be, it's going to be different, and it's really relaxing. Even if you're not trying to have like a psychedelic kind of deep experience, you can do a little bit. It'll chill you out. It kind of it dissociates you a bit. It puts some distance between you and your problems and whatever life is throwing at you. I had a little bit of a problem with ketamine for a while. There's a point where I was doing it all day. I was doing it at work because I'm an anxious person. All the drugs I've had serious problems with, I've done because it kills my anxiety. It makes me a little bit calmer, and that's what ketamine did. It made me super calm. Like I said, it separates you from everything. Your body, life, your problems. So, and it's really cool. At the end of the day, it was really fun to do because, it has all these different effects, and sometimes you'll get this, sometimes you'll get that. It's a mixed bag. So it feels like you're doing like an adventure into the world of ketamine. So it's a solid A tier. It's not an S tier. It doesn't feel amazing. It doesn't feel crazy good, but it's a good time. It's a solid good time. Next, we're gonna do Xanax. I would put an S tier. I'm tempted to put an S tier because I love Xanax, but there are some drawbacks. If you take too much, you can black out, and then you'll forget how much you took. You'll start taking more, and before you know it, you're waking up 3 days later with a concussion, bruises all over you. You don't know where you are, how you got there. And as far as damage to my life personally, Xanax has done the most. It's fucked up my relationship with my family. It's taken, my parents have had to pick me up from fucking the police station, hospitals. Sometimes you take 2 Xans, you feel amazing, you go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, you're a little groggy, but you get past it, and you go on with your life, you go about your life, and then sometimes you take Xanax, you immediately black out, wake up, you're in the hospital, you're in a car crash, you're in a jail cell, you fucking stole something, you got caught, It makes you do stupid shit, and it can get out of hand fast. But I have to put in A tier because it just feels good. People wouldn't do it if it didn't just feel good. So, it's an A tier. Adderall. What are we going to do with you, Adderall? We're going to put an A tier. We're going to put an A tier because I prefer it to alcohol. Now, when I was in high school, I didn't know how good I had it. I had one friend, and he had these little blue tins, and he would sell them to me for $2. I get those little blue tins for $2 each. Fucking buy 4 of them for $10. I pop 2 in the morning, and oh my god, I remember they felt so good. It's just a nice, clean feeling. It's stimulating, but it's also euphoric. It makes you super focused. It gives you motivation, determination. It's just a good time. And there aren't that many drawbacks. If you smoke weed on Adderall, it makes it feel like your head's gonna explode. That's probably the biggest drawback I can think of, because I like to smoke weed with whatever I'm on, because I'm a long time weed smoker. But other than that, it's just a good time. I've never had a problem with it. I've never let it get out of hand. I would do it, I would wait a little bit, do it again. Just a here and there thing, every once in a while. DMT. D tier. I've never broken through on DMT, but I had a DMT pen at one point. I took a couple rips from it. I feel a little loopy. I'm like, I want to see if I can break through on this. It felt like shrooms. You take a couple hits, it feels like shrooms. And I tried to break through, and I almost got there. My vision was going crazy. The shapes, everything, like growing, shrinking, everything changing shapes, just chaos. Chaos is the best way I can describe it. And the only thought in my mind, the only thing that I could think of was, I shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake. The thing about acid and mushrooms is you slowly build up to that kind of like, whoa, I'm feeling crazy. This is a lot different than what I'm used to. You get a little scared. But when you go to that feeling super fast, it terrifies you. It is a terrifying experience. And since I haven't broken through, I really haven't gotten that much out of it. So, I'm going to put it in D tier just for my personal experiences. DXM. I'm going to put it in D tier just because it's not Benadryl. DXM, it feels like ketamine if ketamine lasted 2 days long and it made you throw up 17 times after you took it. It's fun when you're young and you don't have access to things like ketamine, but it's just, it's got a lot of side effects. There are times I took it and I was like, why did I do this? I don't feel that good. I don't feel great. I can't do anything. I can hardly think. I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I do that? once I took a bunch of DXM and I was texting my friend and I told him what I did, and he was like, "Why did you do that?" And I was like, "You're right. Why did I do that? I don't even really feel that good." But put in D tier because it's not Benadryl. Benadryl. The experience of tripping on Benadryl isn't that bad. A lot of people say it's really terrifying, but you're too out of it to even think of it as terrifying. It's more like, whoa, like you're talking to your friends, you're hearing whispering, you're seeing things that aren't there. There are like dogs in your room, there are monsters here and there are shadow people. It's interesting. But after that, after I tripped on Benadryl, every time I smoked weed, I would see spiders in my vision. Even to this day, I have really bad HPPD. I see like black dots darting back and forth every once in a while. Like I have visual snow. I'm probably a little bit slower after taking it too. Just because of all of those drawbacks, I've got to put it in F tier. 7-OH. 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 Let's see. I'm going to put in B tier. No, I'm putting S tier. I'm going to put in S tier. It's bad, it's addictive. It shoots up your tolerance quickly. But it's a really euphoric opiate. It's up there with hydros, oxys, it's really good. And you won't overdose on it. There's no chance you're going to overdose. So, I gotta put it up there, S tier. I think it should still be legal. They're going to make it illegal tomorrow. I hope they reverse that decision. A lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to start messing around with things that are a lot more dangerous. And I think it's a necessary evil. Another opiate, hydrocodone, top of my list. It's weaker by milligram to oxy compared to morphine. It takes more of it than oxy to get you to the same place. But I found it to be more euphoric. And this could be because, I did it when I was like 15, 16. I stole it from family members. I would buy it from my friends if they had, their wisdom teeth pulled out or whatever. So it was my first experiences with opiate, so that I might be looking back on it with rose-tinted glasses, but truly, I remember it being fire. I remember being good. Felt amazing. Not a lot of side effects. Way less side effects than, oxycodone, or 7-OH, or kratom. So S tier. But kratom, on the other hand, I'll put it up in B tier. Not as euphoric, it doesn't feel like a traditional opiate in the way that 7-OH does, but it'll make you feel nice. It'll do the trick. Let's see. Gray. For those of you that don't know, this gray stuff is fentanyl powder. When I've gotten it, it's my only time doing fentanyl. It's when I was really addicted to 7-OH here, and I was like, this is super expensive. If I just bought fentanyl, it would probably be a lot cheaper, and it's probably a lot stronger. And I bought it, and I bought some of this gray stuff, and it was super stepped on. It barely made me feel anything. I think there was a little bit of like tranquilizer in it, so it felt a little bit of like ketamine. If ketamine didn't have like the tranquil euphoric edge to it, it kind of felt like I was like weirdly out of it. It stopped my withdrawals, but it did make me high, and it probably just had so much bullshit in it that just wasn't worth it. So I'm putting F tier. Let's do Phenibut. F tier. I think I'm allergic to it because every time I take it, I throw up over and over all day. Like I've never, like, even food poisoning doesn't make me throw up as much as Phenibut does, and I think it's because I'm allergic to it. But yeah, I'm putting F tier just because I'm fucking allergic to it. Let's do allele escalin. So allele escalin is a mescaline derived research chemical. It's more potent by milligram than mescaline, so it's like a lot cheaper. Mescaline's kind of expensive, and I'm not that into psychedelics, so I bought allele escalin instead, just to see, what that side of psychedelics are like. I thought it was cool, better than mushrooms, not as good as acid. Had a couple of cognitive, kind of like, I don't know, I didn't like the way it made me think. I would like get stuck on something. I would just question something that I usually don't question. I would think a little bit too hard on it, and it kind of like scared me. It's really hard to explain. I'd be watching a show and I'd be like, that character has a hat. He has a hat. I wonder, like, I just get caught up on the hat, and it started to freak me out. But I did another time I didn't have that experience. I don't know. I think it was because I was also doing cocaine at the time, so I don't know. But yeah, I would say it's in between mushrooms and acid, so I'm putting C tier. Bermazalem, F tier. It has a really long. So those of you that don't know, bermazalem is a benzo research chemical. So it's kind of like Xanax. If Xanax lasted 3 days and it made you black out easier. Every time I've done bermazalem, I wake up 3 days later. My room's a mess. I got bruises all over me. So, not worth it. Atezolam, S tier. Atezolam, in between. There, it goes there. It's in between weed and oxys. Atezolam is, bar none, the best benzo that I've ever tried. It's better than Xanax, better than Valium, better than Klonopin. It's the best. Klonopin, on the other hand, it is going to go in A tier. It's a good benzo. It's a solid benzo. It takes a lot to get you blacked out, so I think you can get more out of it before you black out compared to a lot of other benzos, or that's been my experience at least. So, solid A tier. Let's see, Valium, B tier. It's really relaxing, like, in your body, but it doesn't have like the it doesn't put you on a cloud the same way like Klonopin, Atezolam, and Xanax do. For those of you that don't know, it's another benzodiazepine. It's similar to all the other drugs I just named, but it's more like a physical feeling than a mental feeling, which is good sometimes. Sometimes that's what you want. So it's getting B tier. Oxazepam. This is a weird one that I didn't know I did, but when I woke up in the psych ward, I got a urinology. I get my papers back, and it said that I was on oxazepam. I thought I was taking Pharmapram, but they were of dubious origin. So they had some weird, like, obscure benzo in them instead of alprazolam. So I'm going to put it up there with Valium. Same deal. It's a little bit longer lasting compared to other ones. It's really physical and not very mental. Nitrazepam, up there with Klonopin. Same deal as Klonopin. You can do a lot with it before you black out. It's a little less mental than Klonopin. Same thing as Valium. It's a little bit more on the physical side as far as benzos go. So you didn't put it in A tier, but not as good as Klonopin. Let's do flualprazolam next. Flualprazolam. A tier. It feels very similar to alprazolam, so solid A tier. Soma's gonna get a C tier. Actually, no, it's gonna get a B tier. On its own, it leaves a lot to be desired, but if you mix it with opiates, you mix it with benzos, it starts to shine. It's a really cool pharmacology where in your liver it turns into a sedative that's like really similar to barbiturates. So really it's a two-in-one. It's a muscle relaxer and a more like traditional sedative mixed together in one drug. It's super cheap. You can get them for like $1 a pop, easy. You can get them from India for even cheaper, but I think recently India scheduled them, so maybe not for long. But, you know, it's really good if you mix it with opiates and benzos all at the same time. It's called the Trinity. It's my favorite combo. I'd say get some Xanax, get some Soma, and get some 7-OH. If you use another opiate, you're really playing with fire there. You might overdose, but if you get some 7-OH or some kratom, mix it with some Xanax, mix it with some Soma, you're in for a good time. You're gonna be fighting for your life to stay awake. It's gonna take everything you have to stay awake, and that's what I'm looking for. I want to sleep. I want to have the desire to sleep. I want to be out of it. That's what I look for. You know, I like to have that feeling where like I'm floating on clouds. I'm weightless. I don't have a worry in my mind. I'm not thinking about anything. I just feel peaceful. It just feels like you're in heaven. Just like nothing matters. There's no problems in the world. You're weightless. You're just flying. Like how heroin looks in Breaking Bad. That's what the Trinity feels like. Soma's Oxys, or Soma's 7-OH, Xanax, because that's a little bit safer. That's what it feels like. Feels like you're flying. Feels like you're all, you know, cuddled up in a cloud. Feels amazing. So next we have Concerta, or methylphenidate. Yeah, it's definitely getting D tier. It's getting bomb of D tier. It's kind of benign. It's not really fun. It's not really. It's just not much. It's stimulating, but it's not crazy euphoric. If you need to wake up, if you need to perk up, focus on something, it's cool to have. But as far as like a drug of abuse, it leaves a lot to be desired. And I got the same thing to say about Wellbutrin. But I'm putting C tier because I think compared to methylphenidate, you do some Wellbutrin, you're going to be locked in. You're going to be motivated. You're going to be stimulated. And a lot of people are going to be like, you know, Wellbutrin is not a drug. And that's not. You know, most people, they're not going to buy Wellbutrin on the street. But they banned it in prisons because, you know, if you're in prison, you don't have access to a lot of traditional drugs. You know, you turn to things that have like a very small amount of recreational value. And those are things like maybe methylphenidate, maybe an antipsychotic like, I don't know, like trazodone or something like that. Something that's just kind of sedating but not really euphoric. Wellbutrin is kind of stimulating, a little bit euphoric, but mostly just motivating. Makes you locked in, gives you focus. And I'd say if you can get prescribed it, if you're a little bit depressed like me, it'll do wonders. You know, it's really great. It's a really great antidepressant. It doesn't really numb you. It just kind of gives you energy, makes you more focused, makes you more alert and motivated. So it's a good time. Suboxone, I'm on right now. I'd put it in B tier. Slightly better than kratom. More euphoric than kratom. It's really long lasting. It can keep you well for a long time. And it's just a good time. I like it. I'm on it right now. It's an opiate management drug, but I mean, even if you don't have an opiate problem, you take it for the first time with no tolerance, you're gonna feel pretty good. It feels pretty good to someone that doesn't do a lot of opiates. It's gonna be a good time, and you're gonna be high for a really long time. So it's definitely got some benefits. It's got a lot of recreational value. A lot of people really don't realize that. But yeah, that's every single drug I've done, ranked from S to F. I know some of these are controversial. Some of these are going to rustle some feathers. I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. Let me know what you think about this. If you disagree with what I said, if someone out there, you're like, I hate psychedelics, I think stimulants suck ass, you see my list, and you're like, this guy gets me. Dude, leave in the comments. Fucking let me know. Let me know if I'm valid, bro. I think as you guys can see, I'm a benzo lover. I'm an opiate lover. I like a little bit of K. Don't like psychedelics. Not a big stimulant guy. But, yeah. That's it, y'all.